Hello, viewers. Welcome to the Street Talk Show. My name is Abundance Effion. This episode is titled Uproar over Presidential Clemency. In this episode, I want to take you through what's just happened recently. Recently, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu pardoned about 175 prison inmates and former inmates. What does clemency mean? Clemency means mercy. It is the prerogative of the president of any country to decide to show mercy to prison inmates, especially those ones that have stayed for so long. And this is usually done on, permit me to say, on a very lighter mood. Sometimes when Mr. President is very happy. It might also be maybe Independence Day or a day of national celebration outside Independence Day. Something significant that makes Mr. President just decide, okay, I'm going to do something. But now here is the whole thing. It has a process. It's not just something that he actually wakes up to pardon prisoners. First, we have the Presidential Advisory Prerogative of Mercy Committee. That committee is set up and is made up of highly reputed people with integrity, people who can say the truth. And so when that is set up, they go to Nigerian Correctional Service. They go to consult with other legal entities, go to the families of these inmates, and they find out information. How have they behaved in all of these years? How long have they been in these facilities? They find out all of those things, and then they make their recommendations to the Council of State, who in turn advises Mr. President to carry out that action. Of course, it is still the prerogative of Mr. President to say, well, I will not accept these recommendations. I've changed my mind. Simple. So, Mr. President Tinubu has pardoned 175 people. One of those persons was serving a sentence. That's Weke Francis Chuboise. He was serving a life sentence for trafficking cocaine. We also have about 7. Okay, let's add this other lady. That makes her 8. 8 inmates that were on death row. That's Miriam Sanda. We all remember the story of Miriam. There was one of these episodes I did when Lieutenant Haruna was murdered. So I did something and I mentioned her that she murdered her husband in 2018. And so there were rumors that she was pardoned during the time of Mr. President Buhari. But then that time, presidency came out and said, no, it wasn't true. So this time, she has been pardoned. She has been told to go home and sin no more. I cannot list the names of these other people. These other 7 people were not so lucky. They couldn't go home, but their sentences have been commuted from death to life. There are different categories of persons. Even Maman Vasa received pardon posthumously. Even someone as old as Herbert Macaulay received pardon. The Kensarawa and the Ogoni 7 received pardon posthumously. But why is this? Why am I bringing up this story right now? This story is trending in the newspapers. Why? Because the opposition party and a whole lot of Nigerians, yes, I'm not just going to single out the opposition party to knock them. No, a whole lot of Nigerians are saying, why would you pardon a cocaine trafficker? Why would you pardon someone that killed the husband? Well, you need to understand something. Mr. President Tinubu is not the first person that has pardoned people on death row. In 2000, President Obasanjo did same. He pardoned inmates who were on death row, who had served term for about 20 years and above. He told them to go home. But for those that were 10 years and above, their sentences were commuted from death penalty to life. And so Tinubu is not the only person. Even someone like Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, when he was governor of Osun State, he also pardoned. He also pardoned some inmates that were on death row. He commuted their sentences from death to life. Wow. But there's so much uproar right now. Everybody's screaming. I've been going through social media platforms and people have been saying all kinds of things. Some, I read the comment of His Excellency El Rufai, who came out to say that, oh, President Tinubu is giving these people pardon, the drug guy. I actually thought that there were so many drug guys, only to realize that it was just one person from looking at the list and the offenses. He said, no wonder, because Mr. President is being on record that he paid when there was this allegation that he was indicted for drugs. Though he wasn't actually indicted, that thing had to do with the inland tax issue. But then in the Nigerian crime, this has been attributed to drug issue. And that was what Mr. President paid for. So everybody said, oh, Mr. President is doing this because these are people from his own constituency. Wow. Well, that's him. And then His Excellency Vice President Atiku Abubakar came up. He spoke so passionately. But why would President Tinubu, pardon murderers, kidnappers, drug traffickers, so many things. But let's come down to basics. I'm actually saying Mr. President had a right to pardon those people. Why? Because the Constitution, Section 175, empowers him to do that. Why do you pardon people who have committed violent crimes? You pardon them when they have demonstrated remorse, when they have regretted. Now, let's face the reality of life. We human beings, it's always very difficult for us to forgive people for their wrongdoings. Yes, it is true that if you murder somebody, the right thing to do is that you should be murdered in return. But most times people do things, and over time they regret, they truly repent. Let's take a look at God himself. If God were to think like human beings, he won't forgive anybody. And so it wasn't just Mr. President who stood up and said, I'm going to forgive these people. There was a committee. Like I said, this is a presidential advisory prerogative of mercy committee. And then they communicated their recommendations to the Council of State, who is made up of elder statesmen. You can't tell me that all of these people were wrong to have made these recommendations. Most Nigerians that have spoken, that have condemned, even El-Rufai or Atiku Abubakar, that have condemned the action of Mr. President, have not had a one-on-one with these prison inmates. They've not had opportunity to talk with them. They've not had opportunity to observe their lives. See, let's face the reality of life. There are times that people people just change. people just change. It is true that when people do the wrong thing, they should be punished. For instance, this drug guy had saved up to 13 years or thereabouts. Miriam has saved about 6 years. It's not easy, but then again, people can change. And it is that process of people changing that you can now say that, okay, let me forgive them. It doesn't matter what people have done. That's why if God in his infinite mercy can forgive violent criminals, can forgive people who have done so much bad things, and they've come to him and said, look, we're sorry. We have repented. We are totally broken over what we did. I mean, we need to give Mr. President that opportunity to express compassion whenever it is necessary. I don't see that Mr. President has committed a crime in trying to revisit these cases, because he didn't do it independently. He didn't just wake up one day and then go to the prison and then ask the prison authorities open the doors. I know a lot of people are angry over this, but my point is that clemency is just that word. There's always a time to show mercy when people deserve it. These people, for instance, Miriam Sanda, of course, when I first spoke about her in my other episode, I wanted her to be hanged. But when I look at the reports, she's shown remorse over her life. She still has two kids. At least Biliamin left two children behind. Fine. Life has made it that she has to go back to take care of those children. And that was one of the things that the family pleaded for her. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we should appreciate what Mr. President has done. These people may have done very bad things, yes, but then again, they deserve mercy. That's the point about life. After all, the other seven people that were on death row, they have not been released from the prison, from the Nigerian Correctional Service. They've not been released. They have only been pardoned from one stage to another stage, from death to life, which means that they will stay there forever. That's just the point about life sentence. You live your entire life there. Remember that some persons are pardoned because of ill health. Some persons are pardoned because they've served long term. Some persons, in fact, when I went through the 175, some of the persons that were pardoned had just 5 years, 7 years, and they've served out all of this time, but they were not released. There's somebody that owed 150 million that was jailed by ICPC. So that kind of person has also been pardoned. So it's not everyone that was a murderer, that was a kidnapper, that was a drug baron. No, 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 no. The picture that we are painting is not correctly placed. It's not. And so I want to use this opportunity. You may not agree with me. Like I always say in my talk shows, it's not everything I say that you have to agree with. I want to use this opportunity to thank Mr. President for expressing this clemency, for following the Constitution. Yes, you may not agree with that, but I feel that that young man, Weke Francis Chibueze, that's just 44 years old. He still has a life to live. The prisons authorities have said that, look, this young man has truly repented and showed remorse. The same thing with Miriam Sanda. Miriam Sanda is about the only person that I know in Nigerian history that has been pardoned. From the death row, she has been allowed to go home. So let's actually appreciate what Mr. President has done instead of crucifying him. I look at the opposition party. whenever the opposition party speaks, I know that they are just using politics. It's all about politics for them. This is an opportunity to throw stones at Mr. President Tinubu, yes, so that they can gain favor, can cajole the electorates to support them in the forthcoming 2027 election. But of course, they also have a right to express their own opinion. You have a right to express your opinion, and I have a right to also express my own opinion. In my own opinion, I believe, based on what the Constitution permits, Mr. President has not done anything outside the purview of the Constitution. Mr. President did not just wake up on his own to do this thing. He had to follow a committee's recommendation. He had to also follow the Council of State's recommendation, because these are people that are elder statesmen. They would have advised him, look, don't do this. But for them to say, go ahead, we've seen all of these people. This committee has gone to the Nigerian Correctional Service. They've seen these people have truly repented. Now, who are we? Who are we to crucify them? Who are we to say, no, they must continue that way? Men change, either for good or for evil. So, ladies and gentlemen, when I come your way, don't be too angry with Mr. President. Just appreciate what he has done the same way I have appreciated. He is human and he has compassion. You cannot blame him. And that's why, as a matter of fact, it may interest you to know that many governors have not agreed to sign the death penalty for prisoners who have been there waiting for death. Some of them have stayed for 20 years. Imagine somebody staying for 20 years, someone that is on death row, and he has not been executed. So when is he going to be executed? So if the governors have not had the balls to do this, so shouldn't Mr. President express clemency after there have been recommendations, after the Council of State, elder statesmen have spoken? I think he has a right to bow to such recommendation. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the Street Talk Show. Until I come your way again in another episode, my name is Abundance Effion. I appreciate you for watching us. I appreciate you for subscribing. I appreciate you for sharing. Go to the comment box and let me hear what you think about this show. Let me hear what you think about what Mr. President has done. Bye-bye, and God bless you.